A few years ago, after the passing of one of the best rappers that South Africa has ever produced, one of my Facebook friends made a post. The post said, there is too much suffering for a life that can be taken at any moment. You are born, you start working very hard, doing things that you might not really want to do, so that you become something in life. And one day, someone decides that your life must end. You've worked all your life. Maybe you are 26, you've worked all your life. You've invested in yourself. You didn't just decide to just have fun. You're like, you know what, man, let me just have fun. No, you invested in yourself, worked very hard. But one day someone decides that, nah, man, you need to go. The universe isn't going to do anything to prevent that. The universe is not even going to punish a person for taking your life. There is no such thing as cosmic justice. People have gotten away with some of the worst things that you can imagine. There are people who have gotten away with these things. Remember, I heard Jordan Peterson saying that he's never seen anyone get away with anything. I was like, damn, man. Like, yeah, I've never seen anyone get away. You might think that you've gotten away with something, but it'll catch up to you later. Like, no, some people have gotten away with a lot. There are still crimes that we haven't been able to solve. There are people who are in jail because they were framed. No one is willing to listen to them. They've lost everything. They've lost their children. They've lost, they've lost their husbands, their wives. No one believes them. They're the only one who knows maybe not the only one who knows, the only ones who know what happens. Maybe them and the perpetrators, but they were framed. The one who framed them was able to get away with what they did. That's life. There is no such thing as cosmic justice. It's just that people like to believe that we are in a good place and things will work out for the people who are good in the end. And you want to believe that because you think you're a good person, right? So you'd like to think that things will actually work out for you in the end. You think like life is a Nigerian movie. There's a reason why the movies that are being made, and now I'm starting to hate this kind of movies really. The one who is a victim, like let's just say something bad happens to someone in the beginning, that person is gonna get their revenge in the end, or something good is gonna happen to them in the end. You see that a lot in Nigerian movies. Maybe a child is being raised by their aunt. The aunt doesn't love the child. Sometimes the aunt doesn't give the child food. Sometimes the child is not even allowed into the yard, so the child has to sleep outside. And you already can tell how the movie is gonna end. That child is gonna end up being rich, and the aunt is gonna suffer. The aunt is gonna end up homeless, end up crazy, and the aunt is gonna end up asking for forgiveness and all. But people believe that in the end, things will actually make sense and it will all be worth it, right? That's what people believe. That is why people refuse to acknowledge how evil the world is, right? They have this belief that, no, man, in the end, there's gonna be justice. If they're religious, they think that, oh, you keep on coming back here. If you mistreat people, you're gonna come back here and suffer, right? Karma is real. So if you don't suffer in this life, you're gonna suffer in your next life. Some believe that, hey, there's gonna be God. There's gonna be a God that's gonna judge people in the end. Like, yeah, you stole a pen um, from another kid when you were in grade 5. So yeah, that was recorded here. Why did you steal that pen? But I don't even remember. I don't even remember still. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I watched uh, the episode where that was about Charlie Kick on South Park. I thought it was like funny. I thought it was funny, but what I really like is how Charlie Kick responded. He wasn't mad. He didn't ask for the episode to be banned. He seemed happy about it, actually, that they made fun of him. Actually, I didn't know they do it until I watched that episode. I didn't know they do it, right? So he also realized that, he's now gonna get some new fans. A lot of people are gonna know him because of that episode. People who watch South Park, because South Park, it has it's loyal fans. They're gonna watch every episode, right? So I thought, even though I don't agree with like 90% of the things that he said, he seemed to be a cool dude. He doesn't seem to be a hateful dude. He just believes what he believes. You get what I'm saying? And he stands for what he believes. He woke up yesterday, decided to do what he always does, and he got shot. Before he got shot, I'm sure that he didn't even think for a second that something like that will happen to him. Not even for a second. He was just giving his speech, and he seemed to be enjoying what he was doing. Then he got shot. Not only is that allowed in this universe, we are made to feel emotions that make us do these kind of things to one another. Some people are jealous. You can't just wake up one day if you're jealous and be like, I'm not jealous, and you're not jealous. That is why I don't do things that make the people who hate me feel jealous. Like, for an example, if I became very successful and I started having like a lot of money, I wouldn't be posting on Facebook. If I buy a new car, post on Facebook. Yeah, yeah, all the haters are crying right now. But I understand human nature. I understand that those people are victims too. Do you get what I'm saying? They don't want to feel like that. If someone is jealous of me, they don't want to feel like that. They suffer because of their own jealousy. So I mustn't be making them. You know what it's like? It's like if you put a lion in a cage and you put a rabbit in another cage and you didn't give that lion food. So the lions, like, of course, the lion in that situation will be looked at as a villain, but is it really a villain or a victim? It doesn't want to be hungry. It might not even want to eat the rabbit, but it suffers. So we are being made to feel jealous. We're being made to hate other people. You just hate the person because maybe they don't believe what you believe. They don't stand for what you believe in. So people go that far. It's crazy that people are willing to go that far. You might find that the guy who did what he did to Charlie might be much older than the dude. Maybe he's 40 something because it seemed like someone who has real experience. But he didn't mind doing that. We don't know what the motives are. But obviously he doesn't like the dude. Or whoever sent him does not like the dude. It's the kind of world that we live in. We live in a world where these kind of things are possible. Let me ask you a question. Does it seem like in a world that is actually good, in a world that is not evil, in a world where people are supposed to thrive, reach high levels of consciousness, become happy, learn, and all of that positive stuff? You think in a world like that, what happened to Charlie would have happened? What does that tell us about the world? Doesn't that tell us that the world that we're in is actually evil? Because what happened to him is evil. For someone to work their whole life to be where he is, listen, to be where he was. Listen, man, like I said, I don't agree with 90% of the things that he said. Like, I don't agree. Like, he says a lot of things that make me wish that I can become successful one day so I can debate these people. Sometimes I feel like ever since like a lion in a zoo being backed at by a dog, and that lion is like, I wish I could get out. You know what I'm saying? It's like I want to prove to this dog that it has no chance against me. Like sometimes I feel that way. I'm like, damn man, I wish that one day I become successful so I can debate a lot of people who are popular, who people think are right, because I've seen people debate with them and I see them lose, and I'm like, no, man. They're not ready for the arguments that I have. And I wish one day I can be on a level where I can debate with these people. But I wouldn't want what happened to him to happen to him. Why? Because I don't want evil things to happen to people. These things happen because we are in a hell room. And it does feel scripted. A lot of Christians are angry because they look at him and like, he believed in in Jesus. He followed Jesus and he represented Jesus very well. He was one of us, so they are hurt. Some people might say, it's God's plan. I mean, God's plan sometimes just doesn't make any sense, right? But yeah, those say it's God's plan, it's God's plan, it's God's plan. But their reaction, so they will say it's God's plan, but their reaction doesn't support what they're saying. They're mad. They're mad. They want the perpetrator to be brought to justice. They want the perpetrator to suffer, but they think it's God's plan. They'll say it's God's plan, contradiction. They're hurt, but they feel like it's God's plan. They think what happened is evil, but they think it's God's plan. Wouldn't you say that what happened to him is a sign that this world is not good? That we are actually in a hell room. Where we are being manipulated in so many different ways, in ways that we don't see. We find ourselves feeling emotions that we don't want to feel. And what you realize is that most people have to fight negative emotions every day. They have to fight jealousy, anger, hatred every single day. People who live in the same house, people who are related who live in the same house, they have to fight against negative emotions every day. You find that they don't like one another. People who are brothers, they don't like one another. In South Africa, 3 days ago, something very bad happened. There was a guy who was working for South African police services. Who ended up killing his mother, his wife, and his nephew. He held them hostage that day from like 8 a.m. in the morning. One of the kids there, one of his nephews, was able to escape. So I think only 3 people were left: his mother, his wife, and his nephew. Before he killed them, he explained via WhatsApp to some of his colleagues, why he was doing what he was doing, because everyone was surprised. Like, we thought the guy was good, the guy was stable, so we don't understand what he's doing. So he said, his child is not his child. Actually, his child is his brother's child, and his mother knew, but they were all, they all didn't want to tell him. They all kept that a secret from him, and they wanted him to die and all of that. That's what he believed. And it makes you ask yourself, how many people die because the people who are supposed to love them set them up, and we don't get to know about it? A few years ago, a lady was arrested because she kept on killing her relatives. Why? Because she wanted money. She kept on killing her relatives. If she didn't get caught, no one would have known or even suspected that she was the one who got her relatives killed. People would have just thought that it happened. It's just something tragic that happened. How many people ever get to feel like doing something like that to the relatives, but don't decide to go on with it because maybe they're afraid, or because they just realize how messed up it is, and they just be like, you know what, man, it is what it is. Let me just leave this person alone. The fact that jealousy is a normal human feeling should tell you something. The fact that you can feel jealous of someone and even want them to lose, even if there's nothing you're going to benefit if they lose, that tells you something. And we blame the victims. We blame those who find themselves feeling jealousy as if that's what they want. Because we are in denial. We don't want to see the truth. The truth is that we are in a hell realm. That's the reason why we feel all these negative emotions. Jealousy wouldn't even exist if this wasn't a hell room. You wouldn't even feel jealous at all. You wouldn't look at your neighbor who's succeeding in life and you feel jealous. I mean, yes, of course you would want to succeed, but I'm talking about you feeling jealous. Because there's a difference between seeing someone having what you want and you're like, yo, I wish I could have that too. I don't call that jealousy. I'm talking about you feeling like they shouldn't have what they have. You like, why them? Why should they have what they have? A lot of people don't want to admit it, but they do feel jealous. Like that person shouldn't have. Like why that person? Like oh, if only they can fail or feel better, and they do feel better if that person fails. This reminds me of this episode, The Boondocks. The Sting Mina episode. This guy was, explaining something about crab. It's like crabs, when you put them in a bucket and one of them tries to escape, the other crabs are gonna drag it back. That's how a black person thinks things. That's what they're trying to say. But it's not even a black or white thing. It's just a human thing, right? People become jealous and they don't want the people that they grew up with to succeed in life. And that's one of the reasons why when people start succeeding, they separate themselves from other people. Be like, hey, there's a reason why a lot of people blame Nipsey Hussle for giving back to his community and still living where he grew up. like no, there are a lot of people who hate you, who wish you never made it. There are kids that you bullied when you were a kid, or there are kids that there are people that you bullied when you guys were young, that you had a fight with when you were young. Maybe some of them you stole their girl, maybe, so they're still mad at you. They never forgot. You know what I'm saying? There are people who are secretly competing with you. Maybe when you started to rap, they were considered the best, and then you came up, and they don't understand how you actually made it while they didn't. You know what I'm saying? So they're mad. When they see you, it reminds them of how hard they tried and failed. So they don't like you. So if someone pays them to take you out, you'll be like, oh damn man, you're gonna give me everything that I need. You're gonna set everything up. Oh, perfect. We blame people for not being perfect without realizing that they were never meant to be, and there isn't anything they can do to change that. If you're jealous, you will decide that, okay, you know what, I'm jealous, but I'm not going to do anything about it. But it doesn't mean that you're not going to stop being jealous. It's the same as how, like, craving animal products. For an example, you decide that you're going to be a vegan. You're like, you know what, man, I don't like how these animals are treated, for real, because it's horrible. It doesn't mean that if someone is cooking a steak, you're going to be like, yeah, that seems tasty, bro. So it's the same thing with these negative emotions. You'd see a pastor who seems to have transcended all these negative emotions, standing in front of, like, they do get jealous. For real. They will see a young pastor coming up and be like, damn, man, I wish this pastor ain't going to be better than me. You know what I'm saying? They will look at this young pastor and just wish, And that is why, if you're very good at something, be very careful who you allow to be your mentor. If you're very good at something, there are people who know your potential, who don't want you to make it, that you look up to, and you think they want you to make it because you look up to them, you're projecting. But they look at you as a threat. They look at you as a competitor. They know that you have more, like you have potential to do way better than them. They know. So you see a pastor preaching and he sees this young pastor that's under him, and and that young pastor is submitting to this big pastor, and this he thinks that this big pastor has his best interest. Like, no, people get jealous, all right? People don't want you to do better than them. As long as you're not doing better than them, they're fine. Your relatives, your uncles, your aunt, cousins, brothers, like, you think that the one wants best for. I didn't understand this until I, started seeing people succeeding, and people that I was close to. Because when you are young and you see brothers and sisters fighting, cousins fighting, and all of that, you just think, they just kids and all. But as I got older, I realized that people who are relatives will gossip a lot about people who are succeeding in their family. A lot. But that person, whenever he likes to show off, he likes to show off. When he gets something new, he's gonna call me because he wants to show off. That person doesn't love anyone. That person is selfish, this and that. And you chill with that person one day and you realize they're not any of those things. The person is just a hater. Why do we feel all these negative emotions? We feel these negative emotions because it's a hell realm. The hell realm is programming us to do evil things to one another. And we don't know how to escape yet. That is the reason why we don't treat one another, in ways that actually make sense. I remember I was having a conversation with someone over the phone about how people truly feel about one another. I was like, people who are naive, they think that the people that they think love them actually love them. Right? Like, if we knew how people really felt about you, you probably would want to be alone all the time. Like, people's hearts are full of anger, hatred, and jealousy. The people that you chill with, the people that you call your best friends. I've listened to people talk good about their friends. Like, that's my best friend. That's my day one. And then I chill with that person and that person is gossiping. Yeah, that one is dumb. That one, he decided to marry this one, blah, 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 blah. She doesn't even love, even if she loves him. You know what I'm saying? Saying a lot of hateful things. And you see that this person is just jealous. Ever listen to someone talk bad about someone and you realize that they're the problem? They're actually jealous and they don't even realize that it's jealousy that's making them speak that way about that person. If it's your friend, why should you be gossiping about them? Why should you change my perspective about this person? Maybe I looked at them in a positive way, but you are now making me look at them in a negative way. Why? It means that you don't want them to make it. You don't want people to view them in a positive way, and you don't even realize that. You don't even realize you're jealous because, people don't even self-actualize. I have felt jealous before and I've worked. But the only time when I felt jealous really is it will always have to do with a girl, right? Like if someone made me date my ex and all of that, but it's something that I've had to work on. Like, okay, I'm jealous. I don't want these people to date because she's mine and all of that. But then you work through it. I felt it. I know what it's like. I know that sometimes that can keep you awake at night. You know what I'm saying? But some people deal with a different kind of jealousy. Where they just don't want you as a person to make it, even if you haven't taken anything from them. Maybe they feel so powerless, and they see you and they're like, this person has potential. And they're like, all they can do is hate. They don't feel like they can do better than they're doing, so all they can do is hate, and it's not their fault. In this room, we are made to feel what we don't want to feel. You get what I'm saying? You can't control what you feel. So who is really to blame? I remember I watched this episode from Joe Rogan Experience. So Joe Rogan was talking about this guy that was creepy. When they were young, this guy he was old. He used to call them and chill with them, and they thought he was creepy. They were scared of him. So they ended up thinking that he might be a pedo. But Joe Rogan said something very important. He was like, There are conversations that we're not ready to have as a society. It's like, okay, let's just say someone is a pedo, right? And they decided to get help. They decided to be open about it and say, you know what, I am this. So how can I get the help that I need? That person will be hated. But here's the thing, that's how, you know what I'm saying? It's like that they need help. It's not like they're like, you know what, I want to be this way or I want to be that way. It's just how they, do you get what I'm saying? Like we hate people who are not perfect for not being perfect, but without willing to help them. You know, but oh, you're not perfect, we hate you. Oh, you're perfect, we love you. Like, oh, yeah. Instead of being like, you're not perfect, okay, you need help. We need to try to help you. We need to try to make you think in ways that are going to help you become a healthy person, right? If someone like Jeffrey Dahmer decided that he needs help and he was honest about what he was dealing with, because dude was sick, right? So he was honest. He's like, you know what, I need help. This is how I feel. I don't know why I feel like this. I don't feel like it's normal, because it doesn't seem like that's how everyone feels. How do you think the world would have reacted if some dude said that, and everyone, like, it became like a very popular story? How do you think the people would react? They will blame that person for feeling the way that they're feeling, right? Even if the person is deciding that they're not gonna do anything about it. Even if Jeffrey Dahmer said, I'm not gonna, kill anyone, but that's how I feel, so I need help. People will hate Jeffrey Dahmer for feeling that way, even if it's just how he feels and he doesn't know how to not feel like that. Right? So he's decided that he's not going to do anything about it, but it's clear that that's how he feels and he needs help. And he's being strong because it's not easy for these people to come out and say that, right? But the whole world will hate him. So it's the same with all these negative emotions that we feel towards one another. You know, if a person who's jealous, admitted that they were jealous, but you know what, I am jealous and I need help, the one that they're jealous of will actually, I wouldn't say they hate them, but they kind of like want to punish them for feeling jealous, even if they're vulnerable about how they feel and they actually need help, and it's not their fault that they're feeling jealous. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not their fault that they're feeling these negative emotions. They don't know what to do. So I like the fact that Joe Rogan, was able to like show people how hypocritical they can be. Like we lack intellectual honesty. We don't see things as they really are. So because of that, we're unable to solve the problems that we have. Because if we don't see things as they really are, we're gonna come up with the wrong solutions. We will never know what the cause of the problems that we have are. So the solutions will be wrong by default. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like if you are misdiagnosed, right? If you are misdiagnosed, they're going to give you the wrong medication and you continue being sick because they were not giving you the right medication. So it's the same thing that is happening in the world. We lack intellectual honesty, so we don't come up with the right solutions for the problems that we have. And we're not brave enough. That's another thing. We're not real enough. People, since they were little, they were being programmed to hide their true nature if they weren't accepted for it. See, they've been trained, let me not even say trained, but they've been learning to hide the aspects of themselves that the world rejected. If there's something that the world hates about me, I would want to change it or hide it. There's a reason why some people, if they have a lot of money, if a person like they have a lot of money and they think they have a big nose and they wish their nose was like this, they'll go and pay a surgeon a lot of money, millions, right? They're trying to change something that the world hates about them. So if the world hates jealous people, the people who are jealous are not going to come out and say, I'm jealous. So people would rather pretend. So people will laugh and smile when they're with you, but be talking behind your back and can't wait for you to fail, praying for your downfall. They can't sleep at night thinking about you. Like, I wish that person fails in life. And if you fail, they are so damn happy. You find that they even felt happy in a very long time, but because you failed, they feel happy. It's the kind of realm that we found ourselves in. There's a reason why when people have problems, and I think this is something that we all know, that people, don't really love one another. When we have real problems, we don't even want to discuss the problems with anyone, not even with our best friends. We're like, ish. But this person is just gonna go and talk about my problems with other people. They're actually they're secret. They're happy about these problems. That's why they would want to talk about these problems with other people. I'm talking to them because I need to confide in someone, but they are happy about the problems that I'm having, so they want to talk to someone about these problems, not because they want solution and they want to help, but because they don't care about me and they're happy that I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with. You know, I've seen people become happy when something really bad happens to someone. Become very happy. Like, yeah, that happened to that guy. He used to act like he was better than everyone else, but look at what happened. You're like, damn, man, there's no compassion. Like, we don't love one another as people, but we pretend. And it shows, because if we're in a world where people truly love one another, we wouldn't even have homeless people. Let me not even talk about government helping. I just mean people who know those people. You know what I'm saying? You mean to tell me that every homeless person that you come across in the street, no one knows them? No one can help? You may find that there are people that they know who have money that can actually help. Some of them, it's not too late for them, But sometimes you may say, it's too late for some people. I don't know. Maybe they are too addicted to drugs. You don't know what you can do. There are some people that some celebrities have tried to help because it was in their best interest to help. People help when they can benefit. They post about it on social media. But like, yeah, that famous guy, because there are some street kids who are actually famous in South Africa, who are actually trending on TikTok, because some of them are really intelligent, but they're addicted to drugs. So someone maybe records them saying something and people just love them. They wish that they can get help. So someone who's like famous, like, oh, here's an opportunity. Let me try to help this person so that, the whole country. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? At least they're doing something. But I'm just trying to show you that people do good things if they can benefit. You mean to tell me that no one knows them? It's like they were put in the street. Like they were just created in labs and put in the street or something. Like, obviously there are people who know them, who can actually help, and who saw them when they were, suffering before they even started living in the street. Right? There are relatives who know if you have problems, that you actually have problems, and they know how they can solve your problems, and who can actually help you solve them. I'm not talking about people who will struggle if they're trying to help you. I'm talking about people who can actually help you now. Maybe some of your relatives know that you need a job. Where they're working, there's a space and they know you qualify fully, and they know that you're going to be very good at your job, but they're like, nope. You never understand why. No, it has to do with how people feel about one another. So they'll rather choose a stranger because they don't feel in any way about that person. So like, and even if you have not done anything to them, so that tells you something. That is why people know that in like in South Africa, like your own relatives, like it's hard for your relatives to help you. You know, some of the people who did it right is the Wayne's brother, right? Like the big brother, I think he's the one who put everyone on. But it's rare. People don't want to help one another. It's rare. I remember I was listening to Chris Rock's brother talking about Chris Rock not putting him on. But I do think Chris Rock did put him on. But the brother still felt like it could have helped, like you could have given him bigger roles, like, you know what I'm saying, like when he does some movies, because if you're like a famous actor like Chris Rock, like you're that big, bro, like you have the power to say, okay, put my brother on this movie, you know, put my brother on this scene, you know what I'm saying, because the Chris Rock brother can act. I've seen him in a few movies. He dude can actually act. But Chris Rock obviously is much bigger. People love him. You know what I'm saying? So he felt like his, and it does happen. You find that there are people who are very famous, who have relatives who have potential, but they're not helping them, and you don't understand. People ask, why is that person not helping you? Like you are better. Listen, do you know you can have a like you could be a very good artist, and you have a relative who has a studio and who can put you on. You're really good, and they know that you're really good, but they are putting other people on who are less talented than you. Do you know that can happen? And you look at them like, yeah, it's the hearts, it's our hearts as people. And it's not even our fault. That is the problem. It is not even our fault. We're not to blame. People want to love one another, bro. People want to connect with one another. People want to feel positive emotions. No one wants to feel negative emotions. There's nothing beautiful about feeling negative emotions. Imagine if we felt positive emotions all the time. You felt love for every person that you see, you'd feel good. You know, you would actually feel good. That would be good for your mental health because you feeling love for the people who are in your life. They're feeling love for you, right? They see you and they just feel love for you. They see you and they want to connect with you, and you want to do the same. That is beautiful. That is what we want, but somehow we're being made to feel these negative emotions. And there are situations that are being created so that we'll feel these negative emotions. You see what happened to Charlie? People are feeling negative emotions because of that. His family, they had to witness that. Do you see how unkind people can be because of their emotions? Person who did what he did that in front of his family. Like, you know what I'm saying? Imagine experiencing that. Witnessing your father, I think his children were there. Witnessing your father like that, witnessing your husband like that. Shows you that we are in a hell room. Maybe if there was something that we can eat that makes us feel positive emotions, that would be good. I remember I told you about this movie starring that guy from Thor. They were injecting people with some substance that will make them, like if for an example two people are not attracted to each other, they will put them in a room and then inject them with some substance to see if it's gonna make them feel love for each other, and some of them will end up falling in love and end up having sex. You know what I'm saying? If they want someone to be scared of things, they will inject them with the substance and see. You find that a person is finds themselves being scared of a phone, like a phone. They become so scared, like when you show them a phone, they become so scared that they almost faint. And you must ask yourself, why are we scared of some things? Why, if now a portal opened, let me say a portal, but let me say someone just appeared out of nowhere, I'll probably faint. Why? Why would I faint? Why would I be scared if I saw a snake? Why? Because here's the thing: even if a snake, even if they told me that the snake is totally harmless and it won't bite me, and I had proof that it won't bite me, I'll still be scared. Why? If I saw a cobra, that thing will scare me. I think the snakes that I'm not really, I mean, I'm kind of scared of them, but not that scared of them. I'm not that scared of pythons. Like I think I can, like, if there's a snake that I can end up getting used to, is a python. But I'm scared of black mammals, bro. Like, I'm scared of that thing. Like, that thing, if I hear it's in a room, I'm miles away from it. Like, you can get rid of that thing, and I'm not going to sleep in that room for years, bro. Why are we scared of some things? Why are we scared of people judging us? Why are we scared of people? You know what I'm saying? We are being controlled. Our emotions are being controlled so that we don't feel the way that we need to feel to make the world a better place. So that's why all these negative things be happening, and you still think it's a good world, right? And you look at someone like Benedict, you're like, he's. Listen, man. I think the difference between me and the people who think this world is good is consciousness itself. Like, some people are not operating at a high level of consciousness. Ever communicated with someone and you're like, they have a long way to go, and I don't know if they are willing to go that far. Like, it's not even because people believe that it's just a matter of, like, I mean, people are different, they have different perspectives and all that. Sometimes it's not even that, it's just that people are not operating at the same level of awareness. Like, when you communicate with a child, you can tell it's a child. They haven't experienced a lot in life, so they speak like a child, they think like a child. You know what I'm saying? They're not as conscious as you are as an adult. I mean, there are some kids that are more conscious than some adults, but it's a story for another day. This channel is about making people aware that the world is not what we were told it was. To make people aware that they're not suffering because they made like like huge mistakes. You know what I'm saying? You do deserve to have the things that you want. You do. But you're in a hell room. So that's you having desire is actually working against you because you're in a hell room. You do deserve the things that you want. You do deserve the kind of relationship that you want. You do deserve to live in a place that you want to live in. You do deserve to live in a country that you want to live in, or in a country where things that you want legal to be legal, where things that you want to be illegal. You do this, you know what I'm saying? But we've been set up as people. We are different. Of course, we were gonna fight. There was no other way. We're given weapons. So what were we gonna do with these weapons if we are being made to feel negative emotions? We're not being made to love one another. That's the reason why people decided to create weapons in the first place. Why do people have, like, countries have nuclear weapons? Why do we have guns? Why? Doesn't that tell you it's a hell room? Why? Ask yourself that question. We shouldn't even be able to think of something like guns, bro. Like, killing another person should be like a myth. Like, something that surprises people. Like, whoa, how does that happen? Like, it should be something that we consider impossible, you know? But it's something that's happening all the time. All the time. How many people die like childish kick every day? We just don't get to hear about it. It's because Charlie was famous, so we got to hear about it, and uh, It happened the way that it happened, you know. So it got everyone talking. Everyone wanted to see the video. Maybe if no one recorded the whole thing, people wouldn't be talking about it the way that they're talking about it. But these things happen every day. Sometimes the perpetrators are not really successful, so we don't really get to hear about it. But these things happen every day. Sometimes people just feel like doing these things, but they never do these things in the end. They end up, feeling afraid, and they'll be like, you know what, I'm not gonna go on with it. I ain't trying to go to jail, bro. Like, they rape people in jail. Like, the rules are different there. My channel is about making people aware of how evil this realm is, making people see that this world is not what they thought it was. It's very easy to think that we are in a good place. It's very easy, bro. When you look at nature, you look at how beautiful the trees are. You look at how beautiful some cars are, some gadgets that we have are. You know what I'm saying? How the food tastes, all of that. It's very easy to think we are in a good place. We are blinded by the beauty of this world, bro. It's the same as if you are attracted to someone who's very attractive but who's very evil. You will still love them, and maybe you will only choose to see the good things about them, even if they're very evil. It's like if you're a woman and you see that a lot in women, like she's in love with this guy who's clearly evil, but he's handsome. He's handsome, and there ain't that many men in this world that are actually handsome. Some that I've told you before, that a lot of guys are not handsome. So she sees this guy and he's handsome, but he doesn't care about her. He doesn't care about anyone but himself. Himself. It's like that guy. What is his name? I think he was given a death sentence. I think his surname is Wilson. I don't know why women thought he was attractive. I mean, hey, I'm not a woman, so I cannot, like, I don't know what women see when they, like, okay, this guy is attractive. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I can understand when some people say something, with this guy who played, this guy, man, what is his name? The villain in Black Panther, the first Black Panther. I can understand. I do think you can understand. Like, I don't mean like I find him attractive, but I can understand when they say he's handsome. But there are some guys that you're like, dang, what do you mean he's handsome? Like, I don't know, man. Like, but yeah, it didn't matter how he treated them. Dude was handsome. That's it. So it's the same with the world. The world is evil, but it's showing us a lot of beautiful things. So because we are still operating on an ego level, we are unable to reject this world because we don't see how evil it is, because we're still operating on an ego level. We're not able to say, no, this is not the kind of world that we want. Let's try to change it for real. Let's see if we can. Because people are not trying to change the world. Like, people think they're trying to change the world, but they're not. They're just trying to make it seem like they are. It's all about appearances. I remember when I was working for government, the people that I was working with, those were, above us, what they were interested in? Their image. It needs to appear as if we are working. They weren't really interested in, like, causing real change. They need to be seen. Like, people have to see that they are working. So it's the same with people in general. People who seem to be wanting to make the world a better place. They're not really trying to do anything to make the world a better place, but they are very good at making it seem like they're trying to make the world a better place. So we clap for them and we root for them. We're like, oh, you're gonna make the world a better place, but then they never really do what needs to be done. Because for the world to become a better place, we need to go that far. Like, we need to be willing to take the right action. That's why Thanos is like my favorite villain. He identified a problem and he was willing to go that far to solve the problem. some of the things that we need to do to solve the problems that we have go against everything we believe in. I'm not saying we should be like Thanos or anything like that, but I'm saying some of the things, like for an example, some people who are tired of suffering, they decided that they don't want to have children. And you can see that they actually make sense. There's a practical solution. But a person will be like, I'm going to have children, even though I can see that there are a lot of people who are unemployed in my country, like more than 70% of young people are unemployed. I'm still going to have as many children as I can have, even though I don't have money and all. You see, you're not really trying to solve the problem that we have as a country. You must realize that having more people isn't really going to help, even though it seems like it can. Because, for example, if you have many children, are you going to have enough money to be able to take care of them and help them develop? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you going to be able to invest in all of them? Or if only if you had one child, you'd be able to invest everything in that child, and that child will actually become something because you're investing in that child. But if you're not investing in any other child and just wishing that a miracle could happen, you are part of the problem, not part of the solution. But because that goes against your belief, like not having children goes against your beliefs, or only having one child goes against your beliefs, you're going to have many children while complaining about the problems that we have in the world, not realizing what's causing these problems in the first place. You see? So people are not willing to do what needs to be done to solve the problems. They are willing to do what will make people think that they are trying to solve the problems. You see? People who are in power who think they're trying to solve the problems. And in South Africa, the problem of corruption has been like one of the biggest problems since forever. But we see corruption everywhere. You can see that the politicians are not trying to do anything about corruption. They will stand in front of us and say they're trying to do something about corruption. And if, that one time they actually find some corrupt officials, and, they will make sure that it's a bigger story in the country. They're getting arrested again, so that it will seem like they are trying to do something to stop corruption, while they ain't trying to do anything. It's a hell realm, bro. There's no intellectual honesty. There's no accountability. People are not brave. People are not willing to sacrifice to make things better in the world, They're not willing to make sacrifices. They just, they just want things to be good for them, and that's it. People are selfish, but they don't want to seem like they are selfish. People are hateful, but they don't want it to seem like they're hateful. People are jealous, but they don't want it to seem like they're jealous. Like I told you, that people are hiding what they don't want others to see about them. And the reason is very simple. It's because they want to be loved. They want to have a positive experience. So if they see that being real is not going to make people love them, then they're going to be fake. Like, being real doesn't work. When I approach women, being real doesn't work, and it doesn't. That's what sucks. You don't approach women and just be real, and it usually doesn't work. But if you fake, it works. That is why pickup artists will be teaching you to be fake. Tell you exactly what you need to say. Yeah, when you approach a girl, say this, say that. Things that are not even real. But we're so used to fakeness that being real is creepy. You get what I'm saying? Being real is actually creepy. Like, you approach a woman and be real, she find you very creepy. It's the kind of realm that we found ourselves in. So how can you say that we are having a positive experience? Maybe this is a positive experience for you. Maybe this is what you want. But I do think that as we reach higher levels of consciousness, we start to envision a better world. We start wanting to, experience better things. We don't want to be working jobs that we don't like, learning things that we don't like at school, working for businesses that are not in alignment with our soul purpose. You know what I'm saying? You find that you kind of have to sell your soul to make money every month. You know, businesses are not prioritizing integrity over everything. You know, people are just trying to make as much money as possible while they are spending less. You know, it's the kind of realm that we live in. Thank you all guys for watching this video until the end. Tell me if you watched the video until the end. Tell me what you think about the video. Like the video, it helps. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, comment on the video, have conversations on the comments. Thank you all guys.